This time again, more of multi now, actually. I was going to say bandit, but no, it's not. It's multi. Who, for this run... Sure, I haven't used retool in ages. Lucy's just appeared again. She was here a few minutes ago, and then she wandered off, but now she's back. You're meowing at me, and I'm literally stroking you as you're meowing me. I don't know what more you want. Don't tangle yourself in wires. You're not that... Actually, no, you are. But... Well, no, that's a lack of awareness of what they even are, rather than being stupid. She's not. She figured out how to open doors. Literally jumps at the handles, but she's too lazy and she doesn't. Because we will do it for her, which in itself is also smart. I'll do that. Well, maybe I... No, this is kind of fun. Maybe I do this. I haven't tried the saw blade yet. Not power mode though. Retool. I know the saw blade isn't very amazing. Like many melee options in the game. She's still wandering around, trying to get attention. She could have done this before I started, but she chose to do it after. Only after. Specifically, while I started speaking, because she does. You want to be stroked, and I will stroke you. Rawr. I think that one actually got picked up. I stroked her head a lot, and so she decided to wiggle it. Wiggle it. Don't go on the table. Oh. Just sat on the arm of my chair. I'm not going to be able to stop her from going on the table. Going on the table. Keeps trying. He's looking at my computer, but I don't know why. I don't know. Might be confused by it. Anyway, I think this is a kind of weird setup. Very juxtaposition rather than, like, actually good. But maybe it will actually be good. It's only Eclipse 2 anyway. Not too bad. Oh. That's interesting. You can sprint with this. That's what I was trying to do with the other one. Do I? Yeah, sure. I guess it is. That's pretty good. So I got 2 decent enough items for cheap. I am very fine with that. What is this? Sure. Especially given the saw blade. So I would... Given the saw blade, I would definitely prefer the... Given the saw blade, I would definitely prefer the nail gun, given the function. But I could easily see the saw blade causing a lot of chains when you get enough items. I don't know. Seems interesting, though. Death to you. Yeah, with stuns and stuff, that seems to be going very well. Ow. There goes a lot of money. Hello. I'm trying a new weapon. Multi-saw blade. Something I've never used before. The answer is it's kind of as you'd expect. Kinda weird. That missed. Can I? Yeah, that was low enough. That's not the thing. I thought I was on the other one. I might have missed. So yeah, here's enemies, but like, I want chests. So far I've seen 1 Shrine of Chance, and that is it. There's an equipment, which I guess I might as well go for, considering I haven't seen anything else. Oh, and there's another chest. I missed. Don't fall off. But sure, I need mobility as multi, and that's fine. And in terms of... Oh. Yeah, in terms of which weapon to use it with, I think this is probably the best option. Oh, I see another chest. I see another chest. And there's a teleporter. That's fine. This kind of works. That will help a lot, actually. I should, yeah, burn. The bleed saw blade. That will be pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty decent. That works. Still kind of weird, but meh. The sword blade has the same problem as anything close range. Is a lot of enemies don't like close range. They would prefer you to stay very, very far away so they can live. Problem is that you're the same. So, if it ends up being a Stone Titan, or a Beetle Queen, yeah, fair enough. Yeah, this is going to be amazing on bosses, but that's about it. Ow. Death. An infusion. Boop. Boop. And the only problem is I have brittle crown, so any damage I take is a money down. No. I don't have enough of... Yeah, I don't necessarily have enough fire rate to be able to just quickly murder a few things and then move back onto Saw Blade yet. But it does work well enough. I'm mixed on it. one hand, it seems like a kind of decent attack. On the other hand, it kind of seems like a bit of a waste. I know that a lot of people consider it to be Multi's worst attack, and I can see why. I don't know. It has potential, but to get to that potential, you have to literally be a saw blade. Which in a game like this doesn't always go very well. Oh, in saying about that, there is attack speed up. For 66. That's decent. Not the worst. Chance of anything? Another one of these, which is Hellfire Tincture. Which, considering I have Brittle Crown, doesn't seem like a very good idea. I am blind. I need money. Which implies Saw Blade. Maybe. But the problem is nothing spawned. Oh, Hellfire Tincture with the Saw Blade could be very fun. Yeah, with the Saw Blade, that could work very well. So maybe I'll take it. Though, yeah, will result in money lost. If I use it. At least to begin with. Nearer the end, I could always... Yeah, I could either replace it or just use something else. Or end up with enough positive effects to the point where the idea of... Ow. Enough positive effects to the point where the idea of losing money by being hit is actually a non-existent factor. Can happen. You lose a bit of money, but the net gain is positive because of all the other things going off after you take damage. I will take it, but I don't really want it. Considering my 2 attacks, I will 100% go for this. I'm gonna go this way. See, I was gonna just attack, but I think this sounds like a much more fun idea. Saw Blade! Yeah, I can see the value in it, but it's not very high. Another one. Well, I got a Lunicon on the stage, I might as well. That will be very useful. Sure. This could go very badly. Oh, on the other hand, it could also go very well. Speaking of, I would actually... Yes, that's a great idea. Burn. Yeah, I am right. As long as I can hit things, I don't really lose money with this. Problem is, once it's been turned on, I will just lose money. And health, because I don't have lifesteal. At least not really. The other option... Ow. Is I go for something else. I want to get rid of Bustling Fungus, but I can see why I shouldn't. Though, out of these, I'll take the damage up, because I now have 2 attacks that benefit from it quite a bit. On small enemies, the Rebuff Hunter is fine. I think the Saw Blade is more of my boss killer now, especially considering that I set myself on fire every time I want to use it. I didn't die. Meh. That's fine. If you die, I have another one of these. And hopefully this is going to be useful. It is. I think I found my replacement. Or maybe. No. That's what I'm going to do. I know I'm losing money, but the idea is more of that's a boss killer, and this is more of my general use item. Also, as soon as I get a single... There we go. Yeah, as soon as I get a single armor piece, my self-damage will go down very, very low. So, overall, I should be fine. Any other chests? No. You dodged all of that. Death to fine. Apparently that one lives. Kind of. Any more health to gain? No. I think that's it. Which I think means I kind of sit still waiting to heal for a second. Heals is fine. And then summon the boss. And then of course, depending on what it is, which is a Stone Titan, which is perfect, it's dead. Yeah, I will be losing money, but yeah, all I need is a single thingy. It's an interesting playstyle. I just thought I might as well try it, because I haven't yet. All baked. Oh, they're all dead. The only thing is that my low fire rate isn't very good in Eclipse. But I'm doing fine, I think. I'm not dead yet. That's at least some kind of success. Yeah, these missiles will definitely help. Oh, that died against the wall. The rest of them weren't, so I didn't expect that one to either. Though, actually, maybe... I know that it's a powerful option, but in terms of money, maybe it would make more idea... I know what I just said. Maybe it would make more sense if I took the Primordial Cube with the Saw Blade. Because then I could group them all together. It's safer, but this is more fun, and I'm playing for fun, even though I am playing for progress. So, because I couldn't find it in 2 seconds, I'm just going to move on. That is a good thing to remember. When I start the stage, I have Saw Blade out by default, and that's my first weapon. I should have had these the other way around. Which I say as if I could have ever known that my decision would be to set myself on fire every time I want to cut things. No real reason to go in there. That missed. That missed too. That did not. How much is the chest? 294. It's not the worst. Death to all of these. Yep. And to you. And just, yeah, generally. Boop. Yeah, this run overall isn't awful or amazing. It's kind of a bit of both. It's in the middle. It's weird, but kind of on purpose. The sad part is that this genuinely feels more successful than when I tried double nail gun. Part of the reason why I don't mind having Brittle Crown, even though I'm using a slow fire rate, high damage weapon, is I have missile launcher on auto fire. So I don't need to worry. So it would be nice if the game would actually give me stuff out of this. Boop. 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 How much? 271. That was actually a good idea. Ah, I didn't hit them. Well, they're both dead. And so are they. It works very well. No. Moving on. Next chest. Ooh, over there. That's the next chest. What is that meat? I don't know. It could also... It could have been a few things. Yeah, it is. I know what things look like from a distance. Nice. Yes, you can. Well, they're all not going to hit anything. And here they all come, missing everything horribly. Well, depending on what comes out of this. Actually, maybe. I let these all die. I have an idea. It might be a good idea. Take that. No, take that. Swap with that. Then take that. Yeah. I'm losing money, but that's fine. It also means I won't... Yeah. It also means I won't necessarily set myself on fire every time. But yeah, it just means that I have matching weapons. I have a short-range weapon where it makes sense to have a short-range weapon slash missile launcher, and a royal capacitor where it makes sense to have a royal capacitor, a long-range weapon. So to me, this decision makes sense. I thought my shift would be ready faster than that, so yeah, I wasn't looking at hotbar at all. Time to die, and for your friend. And for you. I want to see what this would do with ukulele. That sounds fun. Also, I've just felt that as you're using the saw blade in an enemy, you get dragged towards them. Like, pulled into them. That makes using it on Blazing Elites interesting. And maybe not the best idea. Not sure. Go away. I'm sure I'll find out. As I'm sure they just found out what missiles taste like. Oh, but not you. No, you got lightning. What about chat? I'm just thinking about the saw blade's rate of fire. Well, rate of attack, not really fire. Thinking about all the different items it can work with. You're in the floor. Yeah, I can cut you too. Whee! Adaptive chests, and that's about it. And that's a good idea. More bleeds, healing chest, and over there is maybe what I should get. So what is over here? I'll take the unknown. A medkit. Death to all of these, and out of these I will take the bleed because my attack just supports bleed so much better than anything else right now. And then I guess I should go for this and that. This works really well with the Sword Blade probably. And this I just wanted. Always useful. Yeah, another benefit of having the missile launcher on the Sword Blade is it's a long-range attack while I'm using a short-range option. Literally as support, as it would be. I hit that out of the way. That was a problem. Another bleed. I'm happy I made the trip. Boop. Hey, we'll go boom. Well. Playdune Striders. No. These all die, and so do you, Mr. Boss. Not me. No, I'm stuck. Not dead, though. Well, that was an interesting experience. Ow. Go away. And you, and yeah, you just die. Where specifically is the boss? Over there. So, is it up here but over there, or down there? And oh, it's literally there. Oh, of course there's one of these. Oh, another Lunar Bug. Didn't even notice. Ow. Okay, I guess you die first, you get slammed into, and then you die second. This is pretty much exactly how I expected this run to go. Trying to use the Sword Blade would just result in a lot of damage. Being taken, not given. It's just not... Obviously I didn't necessarily match it with the best of the weapons. It's just not got the killing power. Also, it doesn't help that the boss is apparently part snail. Where has it even gone? Oh, it never came up. That would explain it. Ow. Yeah, no, you're supposed to be dying. But not me. Oh, I might. Yeah, you die. I run away. There's the ukulele I wanted. And the problem is I can guarantee the next stage will be harder. No. No, you don't. And for having 2 stun grenades, it doesn't feel like there's very much of a proc chance, which there probably isn't. I don't remember if the game ever tells you these things, or if it's only on the wiki. Because all the chances that the items tell you are their base chance. That's the chance that gets multiplied by the attack's proc chance. So, the 10% on the ATG missiles on a 0.1 thingy, proc chance is only a 1% per hit. But a lot of items offset that by either being extremely fast or or by having multiple shots? No. I would like for you to... Okay, well this is pretty much my only option right now then. Apart from doing this. Well, I should run. Oh yeah, the alloy worship unit won't be very fun. Well, that's that dead. You die. I might be able to hit the feet, actually. Yeah, the little feet bits. No, I want this before I lose all my money. Death to you. Need that. That was a terrible idea, but I'll take it. And there goes half my drone's health. Well, if I can get in close, I can kill them very easily. The problem is getting in close. For the majority of enemies, that just won't happen. I don't have the attack speed to support the rebar puncher yet. It's interesting. This is nowhere near the best run I could possibly have. No. But I will support that happening. Happen more. Let's move on. Maybe a crowbar would be useful. What is that? A sticky bomb. That could actually maybe solve my problem. Well, either way, there goes my emergency drone because there's 70,000... Yeah, 70,000 jellyfish going for it. I hear a greater wisp somewhere. Oh, I see where it is. So, I am going to save this for it. Die. There we go. Summon the missiles. And then all of you die. Yeah, see, this is what I was expecting for the Sword Blade, but the problem is that against certain enemies, it's just not viable at all. Also, I want higher movement speed. Higher movement speed would make this item so much better. I keep calling it an item. A weapon. Primary. Close enough. Either way, now I'm not gonna avoid the eggs though. I do still want to do the worship unit. Because why wouldn't I? No, I'll leave them for last. They make sense to do as the last pair, set of eggs. They're not in 2s, they're in 3s. That will help a lot, actually. So the previous stage established the limits, and this stage is deciding to give me many, many items for help. Yeah, no, this is... I can see... I still understand why people don't like it very much, or don't choose it, but I can also understand why you do a double sword blade run for fun. I'm gonna sneeze. And in other news, I did finish Borderlands last night. The single player playthrough I was doing. That was fun. I literally did, from the second half of the Trash Coast, I say second half, the story half, where the Rack Hive was, all the way up to the final boss. Not started the DLC yet, because I am going to be playing that with certain people. Because while me and Scott and people were doing the original Borderlands, we never actually did the DLC, we moved on to 2. Which I was kind of didn't mind, but personally I wanted to do the DLC. because why wouldn't I? It's just more of a game I like. Oh, fair enough. Bang! Ooh, I don't have the movement for that, though. Or maybe with that. Ow. Come down here. I want to murder you. Okay, fine. Come over here. Is that? No, it doesn't matter anyway. But yeah, I think it was. Yeah, come over here. I want to land on you. That is an amazing idea. Good job, brain. Come over here. I might as well do this. No. Again, this is not what I mean, but maybe. No. And that's a mistake. That's fine, I'm not in that area. Run. So, what I said about the boss fight probably being hard, it isn't so far. Not really. Oh, a scrapper. Good, because I feel like I need one. Fireworks. That is not the target I wanted that to go for. Oh, death to you. Ooh, this is... Run. This rocket's exactly what I wanted. Because... I can do this. I was gonna do it eventually, even if I had to literally leap off of up there to get on the boss. Yep, this works. Where was I going? To the scrapper, probably. Which is only in there. Maybe I do more of the stage first. I'll do more of the stage. I need to come back through here anyway for where the teleporter is. Plus, while I could put all of my white items I want to scrap into thingy, sticky bombs, which could be a good idea. I think it might be a better idea if I don't do that. Because then I can put them into other things. Well, time for you to die, and you to go pop. I don't need help. Like at all. For once. Oh, imagine double sword blade versus the final boss. That does not sound fun. Well, no, get the right kind of run and that sounds very fun. But that does not sound fun. Ooh. I need an ice band. That's what I need. I'm going to scale down a wall because full damage means I'll lose money. I took a little bit. I lost like 400. Sure, I'll take a drone. I am multi, not someone else. And I don't need money on this stage because I, one, have Brittle Crown, and two, I don't know why that's the attack I went for, being able to spam it, but sure. I don't know. Anyway, there's nothing there. Yeah, no, I do think that this setup makes the most sense. Sword Blade and missiles with Rebar Puncher and Capacitor. There's no reason for me to buy that, aside from just I have an excess of money, which in itself isn't a good reason anyway. Buy stuff just because you can, not because you need it. Yeah, no. If I was to make a political statement, I could very easily. Ooh. Maybe I don't want Brittle Crown anymore. Nah. Read. Which is funny, because I just made the point about a political statement. And I immediately go into, yeah, but money. Because while I lose money when getting hit by Brittle Crown, you gain it so much, even if you almost die. Okay, so... This. Though, it is nice for the game to finally offer a cleansing pool. After so long of going, this would really save this run, and it just doesn't turn up. I then get it on a day where it means literally nothing. But this game wouldn't be any other way. Do I want... No, I don't really care about the bustling fungus. I do like how the Blazing Elite's fire is actually behind them rather than, like, in them. Because it's a fire trail. It's not fire, like, inside them. Do I want... No, I don't want to scrap anything else. And I don't really want to print anything either. I think I'm fine as I am. Hopefully the boss is a decent enemy. Magma Worms. Well, this is going to be an interesting boss fight. I'm going to slice a worm to death. Well, that one's already dead. And this one, I'm losing a lot of health. I'm dead. That was my fault. Oh, yeah, I like the saw blade. But no, I don't want the saw blade. I'm gonna go back to how I was, like this. To me, it just makes the most sense. One of the more scalable options, too. I think I just saw the Shrine of Chance icon thingy and decided it was an enemy. Yeah, no, that's fine. Also, I see speed. Speed is good. Speed, well, quote a certain final boss from this game, speed is war. Which is an interesting way of saying it. But it's not wrong. Speed is a thing that could have saved the previous run. Also, me not being an idiot and charging into a literal, like, worm made of fire with a saw. But that is not the main point of this matter. It was the game's fault, not mine. That's how this works. And there was nothing there. Anyway. Boop. I don't think I'll make that. No, I won't. Yeah, Double Rebar Puncher Power Mode Multi is easily my favorite way to play him. It's just versatile rather than... Whee! Rather than short-range machine gun that feels like it's doing nothing, or... Ooh, I say I have speed, but there's a crowbar there. Well, I do not have an Ice Band, which a crowbar would multiply even further. And speed on the first stage doesn't really matter that much. That's a very good point, Brain. Boop. That missed. Boop. 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 No. No. And no. How did I miss that? Boop. Well, now I have 3 greens, 1 white, and I'm going to pump that white into even more damage. I could make it a key and make it another green on the next stage, or possibly a red. Possibly a red, hopefully. And even then, 1 goat hoof doesn't exactly have the highest speed stat. And yes, I did just go into power mode for that second, just to fire with the right side gun. Oh, there's another chest down there. That entire mountainy bit flickered just then. What I get? That I'm actually very fine with. Boop. Boop. It literally just doubles the fire rate of the Rebar Puncher. Obviously, it's at the... Ooh. Obviously, it's at the cost of speed, but you gain defense, which helps. But also, like, you can go in and out of it quite quickly. There's not much of a penalty for going in and out of power mode. Over here. You know what? That's also now an attack speed up. What is that? Only over there, really. I don't think the other bit's open, is it? No. My phone vibrated. What was it? It was Reddit. Fair enough. Nothing useful there. Onwards. I don't know why I'm in the mood to be like this, but I am, and it's fun. Also, I have no reason to kill it. I just did. I'm 90% sure it showed there were no chests over here, so I'm just going to act like there aren't any. Where are you? Up there. Okay. I should really be fighting this boss while inside the bounds of the teleporter. That sounds like a very good idea right now. Also, Rebar Puncher is a piercing attack. Something this game doesn't have very many of. No. I was saying about, no. Again, I am on low health. Boop. Oh no, you were meant to die. There we go, they're dead now. And through all of this, my nose decides now is the perfect time to run. You know what? Yeah, because like, especially when you're doing the teleporter, you're not going to be going very far anyway. Especially. Yeah, especially when you're charging it on Eclipse 2 and upwards, because teleport radius, or all radiuses, well, radii, are halved. So you're not going to be going anywhere while doing this, so it's literally the perfect skill for what I'm doing right now. So, power mode multi like this on the previous run with Brittle Crown wouldn't have gone very well. Bad run. Yes. I don't care. Okay, that's done. Whee! Oh, I will actually finish you because I should. In fun news, the first two sent to 100% videos are up. I uploaded them all at once and I just put a schedule in. Makes sense. And if I remember how I did it correctly, they should be the first two out of the first 5. Because 1 and 2 went together. 3, 4, 5, and 6 are their own videos, yeah. Yeah, runs 1, 2, and 3 are up. And 4 will be tomorrow, 5 the day after, and 6 the day after that. And then in that time I'll do another video. Well, split up another video and do things. And also thumbnails, I guess. Oh, they're quite simple. Really what I should do is dedicate some part of a day to... Or actually our stuff. Mostly on that side. I see a multi-shop. Yeah. I don't know what kind of shrine that is. If it's a shrine of blood, I'm tempted. Though I kind of doubt it is. That missed. That didn't. That killed. Given the time, I want to say that the chests will be either 66 or 72. The Shrine of Chance. Okay. Well, this isn't necessarily the best option to work with, 80, which might even mean they are... Yeah, I don't have 80 game. I know. I'm still behaving under the rules of Brittle Crown. I'm trying to avoid getting damaged because then I'll lose my money, which isn't how this works. At least not right now. I could end up with Brittle Crown again. I don't know. So close. How much? 66? Yeah. I think I'm literally just on the edge of being able to afford it at 66. Rather than having it go up to 72. Well, it won't update now. The prices don't change once you're in the level. But the longer you spend, the more expensive the next stage will be. But then, that's supposed to be balanced out by you gaining more money in the next level as well, because the enemies will be harder. And the argument is then, you spent more money in the stage, and more time in the stage, so you should be harder too. I know what I just said, and I know what I just meant. Harder for the enemies to kill. Saved it. Today is a day of slips. Not the first one I did today. Where was the chest? Over there. Big chest? Big... Ooh. This could be a red. I doubt it will be, but it could be. One that... Yeah, I don't have enough yet. I need more enemies. That's a corpse. I have enough. It's a red. It's Frost Relic. That would have been amazing on the previous run. Ah, it's still pretty good now. If anything gets close after I've killed something, they die. Probably. There is a singular chest in there. There is something up here. Whatever it is. An equipment, which... Yeah. No. Well, maybe. I haven't bothered with a blast shower run yet. I know that it makes the fans cooldown disappear. But aside from that, I don't really care. Well, I see all these, and I'm here now, so I might as well just do them. Squid Polyp. For when you want disappointment. Oh, then that's a good argument. Do I want bleed or do I want speed? No. Yeah, that died. That is dead. Next, you. And you. Bleed or speed? I will go pure damage. Because it has definitely failed me before, so I will do it again. And that's another... Okay. One of my favourite items in the game, just on concept alone. Also, the name is amazing. No Kanna's opinion, being the goddess of... probably closer to life and death of the universe in this one. Considering her opinion is they should be balanced. As in, you heal, and then you throw out some damage to kill the rest. You take health, and they lose it. This game is dark. Also... Oh, that's back at Mag... Never mind. I thought that that looked like a syringe. It was not. He's dead now. Moving onwards. Whee! Another shrine. Oh, there's a dagger thingy. Which I could do. But to do that, I would pump in all of my things. Momentum. Ow. I pump in all of my thingies, Is that a scrap? Oh, the teleport was in there. Healing drone sounds like a great idea. Might as well look at the chests. I say that, and then I'm not sure what I saw over here that was a chest. Well, there is a chest there. Yeah, you can definitely tell that 27-inch is the logical limit for... That's speed, that's good. Is a logical limit for 1080p. Probably past it by a little bit. No. Oh, it's up there. That makes sense. There's chests in there. One over... No chests over there. There's that one there. So all I have left is that area, and that one over there isn't a chest. It's... It isn't necessarily a chest. It's the 3D printer. So... This diversion, which took quite a bit of time, was definitely not worth it. And I'm not going to take the J Elephant, though I could. It would definitely work. But right now, I don't really care. Was there a question mark? Yes, but I doubt that's a grapper. I want to say that's where a Newt Alter can spawn. And I would go for max bleed, but this run just doesn't support that as an idea, really. With the way everything seems to be working out, I don't think it's a good idea. So the question is, do I then do Void Fields? Sure. I already have 2 reds, why not make it 3? Also, I already have 2 daggers anyway, and to be able to get more, I'd have to trade away items that I already want. Well, time to use Warhorn. Apparently the Queen has a Golem Guard. Oh, that's like 4 of them. Yeah, no, I'm not going to deal with that right now. I'm going to hide behind the rock. Ow. Well, they're all dead. Hopefully. There we go. What did I get? A fuel cell. Actually, that's a very good thing. Ooh, I could get a... Yeah, if I could get a thingy, that would be very useful. Gesture of the Drowned. Oh yeah, I have 2 bustling funguses. Completely forgot about that. So bringing even more point to power mode is 2 bustling funguses with... I guess it'd be bustling fungi, really. Nakana's opinion. This adds even more into the bunker down type mentality of I'm just charging an area. Also, on critical hit... No, not even critical hits, it just kills. Close range... Yeah. Enemies that get too close just die because of the skulls. Faster healing rate would mean faster fire rate and higher damage. So really I want to extend my health bar and increase my heal rate. I'd want that anyway because that just means I live longer. But yeah, no, the last run where I decided to bring the saw blade along instead of this that was stupid. Hello. I'm gonna reroll once. I'm gonna reroll again. Yeah, okay. Point taken. Corpse Bloom could be interesting. Double the healing, get it over time. It would be a constant rate of skulls. The healing would be doubled, and I might be able to keep healing The only problem being, Corpse Bloom isn't necessarily very useful. But I am gonna do this. And yeah, that is definitely something to remember. This is only Eclipse 2. Full damage isn't lethal yet. Eclipse 3 it will be. But I'm not there yet. At least not with multi. Oh, in terms of random stuff, which I don't even know if I've talked about. Well, I've probably talked about it, but I don't know if I've, like, said much about it. The PC parts are arriving for the storage one, because I am running out of space, which, now that I'm actually starting to do a lot on this side of stuff, like the recording and starting to edit things as practice, I can understand why media centers have massive storage servers. It takes a lot of space, and I'm on the low end. I could be doing 4K video. I'm not, because I don't even have 4K monitors. I sit close enough to where I don't need them. Well, you could argue that close range would make sense to go bigger, but I don't care. I've only ever experienced 4K... No, 1440p as the maximum, and that... Well, he knows my reaction to that, and it was a, yeah, that's good, but eh. But, going off of that, maybe one day. But then... Well, at least it's not mushrooms. I'm literally aiming at health bar. I can't even see the bird. There we go. I saw... yeah. Ow, fine. Yeah, the problem with ally vultures is they don't get close enough for the thingy to work. I say that, and then it immediately works. Well... If I don't die, it's a success. We heard another one. And there it goes. You think it would be kind of weird, but no, shooting basically two sniper rifles. Because that's effectively what the Rebar Puncher is for this game. Multi is... well, multi-use, but he fits as this game's sniper role if you pick this weapon. But having two of them, you'd think it'd be weird pressing both buttons together to fire, but you don't really notice it. Oh, hey, look, an item that does nothing for them. At least not really. Oh. Die. Well, that died, I think, to bleed. Ow. I think as long as one of the hits is a crit on a double shot, it just kills. A crit might just... No, it wouldn't, because the double shot without a crit doesn't kill. Oh no, yes it does. Never mind. Then a single shot crit would kill two. But saying that, I have both bands, so... every 10 seconds, I can do a shot that will pretty much kill most main enemies easily anyway, with only one shot. Boop. More bleed chance. Over there! Yeah, no, the problem with multi and several characters in this game, especially when it comes to Eclipse, or just the artifact of frailty, I think. The one that is Eclipse 3 as an artifact. Is that they have no innate way to avoid fall damage. I think adding in beetle guards has just diluted the pool enough to where elite vultures won't spawn anymore. Yeah, I thought there was one there. That... That's interesting to know. Ow. The short stagger that enemies get when they get hit. Ooh, nice. Is enough to... Well, I missed. Fine. I'll actually shoot the beetle. I am overconfident to the extreme in this game. I know that. That's why I died on the last run. It's fun, though. Again, if the ground wasn't in the way, I'd have hit him. Oh, actually, that's really useful. But I still have that much health at this stage in the game that... Well, in Void Fields in general, that armor doesn't fully protect me from the damage, turning it all into ones. Because on the high health section, I'm still taking 3s. Yeah, the way the Void Field area... Is it a debuff? Does it actually show up as one? No. The buff protects you from the area. That makes sense. Is... As your health linearly increases, you take more damage. But then it's based on your current health rather than your maximum health. So the more damage you take from the area, the longer it takes to kill you. Which is generous, but it also means that if you're not necessarily fully prepared, or have no way to heal, if you have a giant health bar and you want to go to 100% each time, you will spend quite a while healing. Especially, like, if you do the high end compared to the low end. Because proportionally health-wise, a Huntress character... Yes, I know what I meant. Huntress player would have a much easier time healing to max health and maintaining it than a multi. Which is true anyway. Small health bar. A lot of heals are flat rather than proportional. No, well, not proportional. It depends. But just because of the lower maximum, a Huntress would find it easier to maintain maximum health while here. I'm surprised that didn't make the lip. Half the time, their ground shockwave thingies go a lot further than you think they ever could. Which I always find very interesting. Soulless probes. Oh well. Dead. Ow. Okay, fine. Also, considering what the enemies have, being 2 forms of healing, though one of them is regeneration, not healing. Because that does make a difference in this game. If they end up with their own Nukana's opinion, I might as well just run. Because if I let them heal at all with that medkit, I'm pretty sure I will die. The only way Nukana's opinion will miss is if you're already dead. It will never miss. It is perfect. The sad part is it will never switch targets if the target died. I don't know why it just doesn't. Probably to make it slightly balanced, even if it's a little bit. But yeah, if they end up with their own, which they easily could, there are only certain items they can't get. They can get the majority of them here, though it would only be on the last wave anyway, and by then I'd already have 8 items, like, by that point. Just not the red, assuming I'd even miss that. Also, I love OBS and Twitch. Both of them agreed I had 4 viewers. Twitch says 3, OBS says 5. One went up, one went down. But if I refresh the page on Twitch, it currently says 5. That's interesting. Yeah, no, this game is interesting just in general. the way it's bit, the decisions made in it. They have another healing item, which does give them a critical hit chance. They have an innate chance of 0, but that doesn't mean they can never get them. No, you heal, Mr. Squid. I want you to... Oh, he died. Ow. Yeah, it does mean that on 5% of hits, they will do double damage. And heal off of it for, like, free. 12... Not 12. 16 HP. Which isn't exactly very much. But it's still not 0. Yeah, if they end up with a Nucleus minion of their own, and they heal, that would be interesting. No, I don't think I've let a single enemy heal. Or maybe just one. Because you have to, for Medkit to work, it's you take damage and then don't for 1.1 seconds. Considering I'm one-shotting most of the enemies, and the rest of them are dying in a few hits themselves, I really doubt that'll be an issue. I have over 1,000 health before I'm even on stage 3. Well, this is my 3rd stage, but it's not... Yeah. Where is the next one? Oh, it's over there. Fair enough. I went the wrong way. Also, I'm pretty sure that transport mode does help block full damage. I'm saying pretty sure because I'm not 100% sure, because obviously it's horizontal momentum that it works off of, not vertical. Oh, he's back. Running in, probably begging for attention. He's pushed my door very open. So I will have to go push that because I don't have a cat flap on the inside, which I would like. No, obviously that's stupid. Yes, I hear you. They're not ignoring you, I'm pushing the door closed. She came in, like, running in to beg for attention. She was here at the beginning of the stream too, which was only an hour and 10 minutes ago. But then saying that today, she's been weirdly wanting attention a lot. I turned away from you for a second. That doesn't mean you have to jump down and meow at me. You're not that attention starved. You've gotten loads today. She's that kind of cat. And yes, I'm stroking her instead of playing the game. I don't care, cat wins. And once again, she decides to not be aware of her surroundings and pull on a wire with her tail. At this point, I'm used to it. Yeah. I would hold her towards the mic and have a meow, but I know she wouldn't. She's not really getting picked up either. Yeah, this is normal. It's like 9-to-1 streams, so 90% of them have a Lucy interruption at least once. Several of them have a Lucy interruption twice. Not many have 3, but it does happen. And I don't know if there's ever been 4. But yeah, she really, really wants attention. But considering she threw up on my bed a few days ago, I doubt she's feeling good. She's just happy. Like, happy to be here, specifically. Now she's sat behind me. Hopefully gonna stop asking for attention, because I only need to play. No, she's gonna immediately climb up onto the desk. And be in the way. As soon as I start the next wave. Don't sit on my keyboard, that isn't a chair. Yeah, sniff my hair, that works. You want to go in the window? No? You want to do a weird lap around me and then sit down again behind me? Well, Supposedly the other two left. Oh well. Anyway. Yeah, the reason I'm using the radar thingy, even though there's literally nothing on the stage for it to be useful for, is because I have an item that means the Warhorn. Yeah, the third item I have means that when I use my active item on Q, my attack speed will go up. That's for anything in that slot, assuming you could use it, because there are a few exceptions. Ow. I've actually knocked out of the area. Another Lunar coin. Yeah, see, a golem knocking me out of the area, that I would expect. Not off the stage, though. That I will not do. Out of the charging circle, sure. Because there are two enemies here that can throw me around. And considering I'm playing this... Oh, there goes Lucy. She's just jumped down. Considering I'm playing the slowest character in the game, then sure. No, she's not opened my door too much. That's fine. Oh, actually, seeing that certain enemies are healing now. I get infusion, that's fine. That's a good thing, because I have Nukana's opinion. The higher my health... The way Nukana's opinion works is... Which is the two horns. They're not horns. I don't know what they're meant to be. Weird corruption thing. Good. Weird lore thing. Malachite enemies, which are the heal blockers. Basically the poison enemies of the game, are also based in Nukana because their elite aspect item is called Nukana's Retort. Which is similar to her opinion. And also, yeah. Goddess of balance in terms of the Risk of Rain universe. But yeah, no, the way it works is you heal 10% of your health within a close enough time. Because in the background it calls it soul charge. As you heal, you get an equal amount of soul charge, which does deplete slowly. Once you reach 10% of your health's value, you shoot out one of the skulls, which does a quarter of your health bar's worth of damage. So the bigger your health bar and the faster you heal, the faster you'll throw out skulls and the bigger damage there'll be per skull. It just makes sense. So having an infusion, which increases my health bar size the more I kill, just makes more sense. Yeah, also if the enemies get unstable testicoil, which is every 10 seconds create a lightning area of effect where certain numbers of enemies within that area just get shocked. If the enemies get that, that pretty much means I'm either dead or will have to run. Whichever happens first. That is pretty much the one item they can get here that you can't win against. Unless you have an extremely, like, very extremely good run. To the point where you can somehow kill every enemy pretty much instantly. That is useful. But is this the middle one? I think it is. Yeah. I get to find out what the red item is they get now. Speaking of that. I'm fine. Oh, speaking... They also got... I didn't even notice Predatory Instincts. Similar to Harvester's Scythe, which is the first green they have. Harvester's Scythe is you gain a hidden critical chance up, and critical hits heal you. And Predatory... Oh, he actually did get the critical hit. That's rare. And Predatory Instincts is every time you get a critical hit, your attack speed goes up temporarily. Up to a maximum stack of 3, and then add on 2 to that maximum per stack. And because they have 3 of them, that means that they can stack up to 7. Though none of the enemies here can attack nearly anywhere near fast enough. Saying that, neither could I right now. I'm using one of the slowest attacks in the game. I say that when I could vary it a bit, do... No, I'm not going to mess around. I'm actually going to try to not die. You're not dead. But they should hopefully be. There we go. Oh, I could do that. Yeah. Berserker's Pauldron is what just put my attack speed up just then. Kill 3 enemies within a 1 second time. Okay, that's funny. I would have been very happy to have 57 Leaf Clover like they got. 57 Leaf Clover is almost all positive chance-based events. If they don't happen, roll it again and try and make it happen again. And bad events, roll it again to try and make it not happen again if it did happen. Basically, re-roll something that isn't in your favour. But what I just got is Rejuvenation Rack, which, as you can see, now gives Multi even more horns, specifically antlers. Rejuvenation Rack doubles all healing. Similar to Corpse Bloom, the lunar item, but with literally no downsides, and is not the worst item in the game. Unlike Corpse Bloom, which is. But this is extremely good considering I have Nukana's Opinion. Because what this means is I have double healing. So I have double the fire rate for the skulls, which is actually a big increase for the skulls. Nukana's Opinion is not a good source of damage by any means. To be a really good attacking option, you have to have an insane amount of healing. It's stupid to rely on it. But considering it's literally free damage based on something to keep you alive, that half the time just happens in the background anyway, I'm not going to complain about having that doubled as long as I'm able to heal myself. Because healing me is also doubled. It's just good. I kind of like the ability to be able to just see where stuff is. There's a bit around. What is that? That is that. They show up as fans. I forgot. No, the other way. Chests. I forgot the fans show up as chests. Is there anything actually up there? Oh, there are. Okay. Might as well go up there then. I want to say these are the cost of one. No, they're not the cost of a chest. That's far too cheap. But yeah, no, because I know that there is someone here who hasn't really seen much of this game and has repeatedly said that they don't understand it. Kill things to get money, to kill more things to get more money, to buy items to make killing things easier. And once you're at a suitable power level, or spent enough time, or however you decide, you fight the boss and move on to the next level. And obviously try to not die. Because death is not good. Speaking of Predatory Instincts, I now have one. Yeah, also, I have Monster Tooth. Yeah. I just thought, you're actually here, so I might as well actually here for a long enough time for me to explain it. Because this isn't too far in, it's only stage 3. But yeah, that is the basic premise of the game. I just happened to be playing. Speaking of those two items, I then got Harvester Scythe. This run is looking so much better than the previous one. The previous one was stupid, by design. I knew taking Sawblade was a bad idea. That's why I did it. I just haven't used Sawblade before. It's not an Eclipse-friendly item. Yeah, this is Eclipse Mode, the hardest game mode in the game. Not yet, currently, because I am only on Eclipse 2 as multi, which is this character. But I have done it through Eclipse 8, which is the hardest one on 3 characters so far. Yeah, imps can teleport. Another squid polyp. Well, I know what's going in the scrapper. Well, that died anyway. Anyway, what's over here? I'll take this. See, I would get rid of the Bustling Fungus, but at this point it's actually really useful to me, because it's my main source of skulls. Because of Rejuvenation Rack, it's actually decent now. I know I said about extending your health bar being a good thing, but meat is the worst way to extend your health bar. It's not that good. I don't really have anything else to scrap. Everything else is either useful enough to leave it for now, or... let me get that. Yeah, either useful enough to leave for now, or is actually useful to me. Yeah, no, I'm just going in character order. If I wasn't, I would have probably started with Loader or Rex. Or maybe Acrid, actually. I don't have enough money for that. I am on fire. I missed. The enemy just missed and walked into the fence rather than coming around. Well, that's why I was on fire. Is there even anything left? There's a chest over... There isn't. Oh, there's a chest here. Anyway, he died. Well, there is that up there, but I don't really care about a Shrine of Chance. So that is not a chest. That is a chest, but I can't open it. The rest are chests. Oh, there are chests up there. Yeah, sure. I have enough power on this run to the point where I don't mind spending a little bit more time just to get more stuff. How much? This won't be worth it. It's not worth it. I don't have a double jump, so I will probably have to pay for the fan, but it's only 60 something. Valley Point Delta is still easily one of the best levels in the game. What's actually up here? Okay. A kind of semi-decent item, and... yeah, I'll take this. I could see it being useful. That does help with fall damage. That's interesting. I was pretty sure it did, but I know that multi has no way to fully cancel fall damage, unlike everyone else. Oh, to everyone. Most other characters. Imp Overlord. Okay, actually I'm happy I missed that. Yeah, they all get to die. I let myself get frozen then. That was stupid. Well, the Overlord's dead. Anyway. But what I just got is Leeching Seed. Whenever I hit something, I steal 1 health. It's not very good. It's in the same tier as Harvester Scythe, which makes sense. But I could see why it's not a green. No, a white. It is a green. But personally, I feel like it's more white territory because... wait, do I have a crowbar? Oh, I do. Yeah, this is powerful. That could explain part of why it's able to kill weak enemies so easily. But I'm literally stood here doing nothing, and the skulls are just winning. But yeah, Leeching Seed has a problem of scaling. Where with Leeching Seed, to double its effectiveness, you need to get another one. Maybe even 3, actually, because of rounding. How many hours have I played this game overall? That many. Like I said earlier, I am very, very overconfident in this game. That was a mistake. I should press them separately. There we go. No, pressing Shift Tab while in this game in the pause menu does the weird thing where the game... I've played this game since before the full release. By quite a bit. I think I'm done on this stage, yeah. Yeah, it entered early access in the end of 2019, I think. Yeah, it wasn't a 2020 game. But I think I started playing it... Actually, hold on, let's find out. When was my first achievement? Wherever the... Am I being blind? That's my profile. I want... Oh, no, I see where I got from there. 12th of August. Yeah, I know a lot of these were reintroduced or put in... Yeah, 12th of August 2020 is the full release. That's where a lot of these came from. Never mind. Unless... Does Steam tell you when you first bought the game? Games. I don't know. I don't know if it tells you that or not. But I started playing this before... Yeah, that's what I mean. I didn't press Shift or Tab just then. Yeah, this enemy needs to die. There are very few enemies I'm serious against right now. But this is one of them. Elite Elder Lemurians are not to be taken lightly. It's dead. Everything's fine. Same as Elite... Lucy's back. This is number 3. Yeah, same as Elite Golems, but they're less of a threat. They're not as fast. Yeah, no, I forgot what I was saying before being asked about playtime. Yeah, I know you're here. Yeah, no, I know what I was saying about Leeching Seed and Harvester Scythe. Yeah, Leeching Seed has a problem, and its name is Harvester Scythe. As if you get max crit, Harvester Scythe is just Leeching Seed, but literally 8 times better. Because if you have max crit, you deal critical hits every hit. That is what that does. Like, that doesn't work out. But the point needs saying for this point to make sense. So, having a lifesteal item that's based in doing critical hits, and a lifesteal item that's based in not doing critical hits, just hitting, all that happens is when you get the one that is based in critical hits to maximum effectiveness, speaking of, this is an amazing idea right now. I'm saying that I have a 40% crit rate anyway, so I don't necessarily need it. That will be very useful against the boss. The only time I'll ever be happy to see a Lepton Daisy is when I have Nukana's opinion. Aside from that, I don't care. I don't the infusion, though Will-O-Wisp is fun. Lepton Daisy is when you're... Yes, I would definitely like that. That's an amazing item. Yeah, now Lepton Daisy is when you get the teleporter charge to 100 divided by the number of Lepton Daisies you have, and then each interval of them. Awkward explanation, but you have to say it like that. Times. When you get to that many charges, thingy %, my brain is weird today. It will fire out a charging wave. Charging wave? Healing wave. Charges your health bar. I knew where I was going with that. I have one, so it'll only do it at 50%, but if you had two, it would do it at 33% and 66%, because they are the 2/3 lines. And then, again, for 3, not 4, it's split into 4 sections, where each of the dividings, being quarter, half, and 3/4, then result in... Oh, it does make sense. I thought it was just going to drop down. It attacks so quickly. That's amazing. Yeah, then result in more healing novas. But yeah, the more you have, the more effective it is, and the more often healing goes off. But it still has the innate problem of it's left on Daisy. There are so many better healing items in this game. But when you have Nukan's opinion, and especially with Rejuvenation Rack, it is very, very nice. It throws out a lot of skulls and does a lot of damage. And ATG is a 10% chance to fire out a missile that does 3 times the damage of the hit that caused it. Add on another 3 to the multiplier for each stack you have. I only have 1, so it is only 3. And considering how high my hits are going, in terms of individual damage per shot, that is quite a lot of damage being thrown around. There is the big chest. It could be up there, but it could be in a few places too. Yeah, it's all... Oh, it's up there. See the pink mushrooms. I know what's down there. I'm not happy to know what's down... Oh, it's almost dead. Hey, look, the backup. I'm not going to take it. But if I find an equipment drone, that'd be amazing. The backup spawns 4 strike drones, which are basically if gunner drones were good. Machine gun drones that actually deal quite a bit of damage. Temporarily, they despawn after a while because it is an active item. It's basically just temporary backup, but if you put it in an equipment drone, which is a drone that uses the equipment it's given whenever it's close to enemies, what you get is infinitely respawning strike drones. As long as the main equipment drone doesn't die, and considering it's literally incapable of attacking, it will never draw the attention of enemies by itself. Which is really good. Yeah, this attacks really fast. I didn't realise my healing was quite that high. Obviously all of it is doubled anyway because of Rejuvenation Rack. Boop. Give me good stuff. I will take it. That's meant to be a strong one. Ooh, Recycler, actually. Yeah, I will take that. Recycler is the reroll of this game. Don't like it? Recycle it. You can only do it once per item, though. Like I said, don't like it? Recycle it. And thinking about it, maybe the Nukan's Opinion Soul Energy doesn't decharge over time, because I'm definitely not healing between every enemy, and I'm firing out a lot more skulls than I'm expecting. 31 minutes on this stage. I think it's time to get some money, and then head up a tree. Realistically, I could literally... Ooh, actually, I know how I'm going to get the money. Well, it's up there now. That isn't what I wanted to happen. Hold on, let me just... Ooh. That did less damage than I thought it would. And it fell down. Well, either way. Oh, it's not. Now it's dead. Oh, but I could have that. Royal Capacitor. Literally just spawn lightning. Press Q, look at an enemy. Enemy dies. There's lightning on him now. He's dead now. Not the most amazing active item anymore. It used to be pretty much the most powerful. I will take it if nothing else comes up, but I don't mind not taking it either. Yes. Yes, I will. Unstable Tesla Coil. I am now literally half the time just made of lightning, and just for the lightning theme. Where was that? Oh, it's over there. To add lightning to lightning, I'm going to take this. Yeah, those lightning. I think the teleport was down here. Yes, it was. Which should result in... Yeah, the enemies take a lot of damage from this. The only problem is, I don't... Never mind. I was gonna say, I don't really have that much in the way of defense. But the laser, which is meant to shred your health bar, didn't. Yeah, part of the reason why I'm happy with Unstable Tesla Coil is because it matches Nukana's opinion in functionality. Enemies around you die and you have no input. They just do. Which is very useful. Yeah, when it's those electric waves coming out, that's how you know it's there. No. Yeah, the lightning does 3000% damage, so 30 times whatever your damage stat is. And there's no enemies around. No enemies around whenever Left on Daisy goes off. So, if you then have 30 times your damage stat, that one isn't based... Yeah, the lightning, that one, isn't based in the any hits, because it is its own. I don't know what my damage stat is, but I am level 18, which you could easily do some maths to work out from the different stat scaling things you can find out on all the characters. But basically, 30 times whatever 100% damage is, and then... I'm literally not doing anything. This run is luck. This one is no skill. Though I have done several skillful things during the run. Yeah, items will chain off of each other, and that is the major damage of the game when you get to the end game, which this isn't. This is still considered early game. I'm just not going to go to any end game through looping because I don't need to. Hello. Goodbye. Well, that's a good bit of money to start with level. Like I said, I'm very overconfident in this game, and it will kill me. Though I see another ATG, so I have no reason to think I will. Ah, missed. Yeah, that's another thing. Compared to previous versions, Royal Capacitor definitely feels like it misses so much more often. The game really wants me to have Bustling Fungus. And yes, I am 100% going to take another ATG missile, because now, instead of doing 3 times the hit that causes them, they do 6. Oops. Which means that if the ATG missile is spawned by lightning hitting an enemy from the Royal Capacitor, the missile in question will deal a total damage of 30 times 6. 180 times my damage stat in a single missile. And that's only with 2 items. 2 as in the equipment and then the missiles. Because you can then stack even more things on it, like Molten Perforator, Charged Perforator. Not Ukulele, that's a damage down because it also gets spread around, but that is still a damage multiplier, just in the other direction. And several other things as well. Tougher times, chance to block items. Block items, block hits. It's an item in itself. My brain is focused on the having fun bit more than the function. I just realised that's an elite. Okay, maybe I should actually take this one seriously. And so is that, okay. Well, that's dead. You want the elite one. Greater Wisps aren't a threat by themselves. But they can be. If left alone. Which is kind of their whole point. That's what Wall Wisps are like. By themselves, they're really easy, but left alone, while other enemies are around, then they'll kill you. Yeah, that big hit, I think. I think that big hit was a lightning missile. Yeah, anyway. That died. This run is stupid in the best way. Hoax of Heresy. I could. I should. Rather than a cluster stun bomb, I now have Slicing Maelstrom. That. Similar function, except it just kills. Even more crit rate, which I'm fine with, because I now have a 60% crit rate. Red Whip, again, which I'm also fine with, because the lightning doesn't count as an attack. Well, I see where the teleporter is, so I guess I should really go to the other end. Infusion, which I'm definitely happy with. That, which, considering I now have Hooks of Heresy, is even more useful. No. I'm not going to take Volcanic Egg. What's that? No. Having 6 Bustling Fungus with Rejuvenation Rack is a little bit overkill. It's working out in my favour because it means I can literally stand still and nothing can kill me. But in itself, it is stupid. The skulls have a fire rate of this. Parents are supposed to be some of the hardest enemies in the game. But then saying that, my health bar is gigantic. But it's a quarter of 1500, so 350 per hit-ish. Multipliers and everything as well. And they're all individual hits, so they can all individually cause all of my other effects. No. There's only one thing I would replace Royal Capacitor with, and that is Disposable Missile Launcher. Because in my opinion, they are the best 2 active items in the game when you don't consider other items. Considering other items, I would argue it's Hellfire Tincture. Well, no, it would be Spinel Tonic, but they're both of them are the lunar equipments. Well, there's 4 lunar equipments, but there's only 2 that matter. No, I already have 2 Red Whips. I will take this question mark, which is another Predatory Instincts, which I'm fine with. I can now stack my attack speed buff up to 5. Each one is a 12% increase to attack speed as well, which is very decent. No, you die. Okay, fine. You get shot. You can just tell by the way I'm playing and the way I'm moving in-game when I swap from messing around to actually serious about the enemies. This is an interesting strategy. I have an infusion that isn't fully charged, and these rocks will give infusion charges for some reason. I'm not sure why, they just do. But that also means you can farm them for extra health, which I actually think I've run out of now. Yeah. Another red. Okay. Ceremonial Daggers. Kill an enemy and spawn 3 daggers, each for 300% damage, that then track another enemy and attack them. Adding on to, I no longer need to play the game. They aren't the most powerful by themselves, but given the right active item, being Forgive Me Please, which is my favourite active item in the game, it's amazing. It is very fun. Ooh. Oh, either way. I'm just speaking and playing at this point. What time is it? Not even 9. What is over here? Another fireband. Did I go up here? I don't need to. I'm betting it's a grandparent, and I'm betting it's going to throw me off the stage. It didn't. Only problem with grandparents is their weird gravity. That. No, I don't want to. What did I get? Even more healing. Because I don't have enough. Okay, more defense, just because. This is ridiculous in the best way. Yeah, the reason I have... That's exactly what I expected to happen. Yeah, the reason I have so many healing skills coming out is because each of my ticks for Bustling Fungus is almost 10% of my health, but in itself. The only way to make this better would be to have a ridiculously high fire rate attack, which I don't have, unfortunately. And also, see, I could go for the cauldrons, but apart from maybe a green item, I don't think I would. I only have 2 green scrap. I have no reason to go for a red cauldron unless it's something literally, like, amazing. Which even then is, yeah. I only have the 1 healing drone. Fair enough. But yeah, this run is stupid in a really good way. It's just fun. Multi wears both the rings on both hands. 1 hand. I know what I meant. It makes sense because in terms of retool, it's his left hand that changes. Power mode only changes his right hand just because it's dual fire. No. I'm not sure where the lockbox will be, but I'm sure I'll find it. I might as well look around for that first. Oh, there it is. On the left. If it was another... It's ukulele. Literally the one thing I was missing for this run to be basically perfect. At least for this stage in the game. Well, I doubt I'll do anything with it, but I might as well look at the cauldrons. No, you have... there you are. There we go. You have... shields for health, so therefore you should die randomly. Resonance disc. I would, but I know I don't need it. What are the greens? And what's up there? Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is how you're meant to get up there, where when you don't have a double jump or anything. As good of an item as they are, they're not really that useful on the final stage. Another... That's another one of them. No, I'll leave it. How many... No shrines of pillars of blood. Okay. That'll be fine. There's no requirement to cancel out full damage in this version of Commencement anyway. That was the original. Where, with this, it was practically fixed. I know it didn't do too much of his health bar because Chimeras have gigantic health bars. Being part of the hardest difficulty spike in the game. But that is still a ridiculous amount of skulls coming out. Just because. Alright, also, this is the okay. This is the final stage. The way the game ends, well, one of the... I guess 4 ways the game ends. One of them being death, which isn't exactly the best way, is you come here and fight the final boss. Which you can only do after stage 5. Being Sky Meadow. It's always Sky Meadow. where you have the primordial teleporter, which can either take you here or back to one of the stage 1s. I guess. Yeah, I guess I'll do that. Pillar of Soul, and then a Pillar of Mass. Unless there's... No, there's not 2 Pillars of Soul. I'm 90%... No, there's no Pillars of Blood. If there was, I'd do them. That'd be easily the fastest. But yeah, no, Chimeras are the most different and most dangerous enemies in the game. Type for type. I wouldn't say they have the most dangerous elite, though. Affecteds are not the scariest to me. I would still say that's Malachite. But that's just because of how important healing is in the game. And having an elite type that can literally block all healing and health regeneration is quite annoying. Chimeras just have massive stats. Move in. Oh yeah, Pillars of Soul. The area gets smaller as you charge them, which in itself isn't too bad, but if you leave the area, it decharges extremely quickly. I will not make that. Yeah, it's a good thing Multi has the air control he does. Being able to literally, like, do that. Though, in saying that, this isn't Eclipse 3. I won't die if I drop. Though, that could always happen. Anyway, the most normal out of all the pillar charges, Pillars of Mass. There is no special side effect to this one. It's literally just charge and don't die. Anyway, that's how strong a Chimera Golem is up close. Also, they're called Chimeras. These little ones aren't really... I'm not sure what they're based on. I think the answer is actually nothing. They just are their own thing. But yeah, the Chimeras are called that because they're based on multiples of the other enemies. Chimera Wisps, being the flying ones, are based on Clay Templars because miniguns, and they have 2 of them. And Greater Wisps being 2 hands, and flaming masks. And Chimera Golems are based on, looking at them, Clay Doomstriders, and Stone Golems, being quadrupeds in that kind of shape with explosive energy bolts. And yeah, the little ones, which I don't remember what they're called. And if you ping them, they're just called Chimeras. I know they do have a name. I think they're just called Exploder. There's not really an enemy. I guess Jellyfish could be what they're based on. Anyway, a very, very hand-shaped weird sculpture holding up what could be the base of a giant teleporter, or something else. Either way, there's the final boss. Also, this is on the moon of Petrichor 5, the planet. There you go, there he is. He is unstunnable, but he's not unfreezable. Unfortunately, I don't have an actual freeze. That's a lot of full damage coming. Yeah, but I have a lot of health. And a stupid amount of damage too. So overall, I'm going to be fine. Yeah, he's immune to certain statuses, but not things like slows and bleeds and things. Just... Ow. Yeah, I should let him do that. No, I'm gonna move. That was very well timed. It hit just before he started moving, but just after his defense dropped. Yeah, this is why slicing Maelstrom is a great idea. You can literally just make a wall of damage. Ow. No. And I believe He can be locked in place. I didn't know that. Oh, that didn't kill. No. I also have a big deadly shot. It's just, they're just gonna be called, yeah, Luna Chimera. I'm moving extremely slowly with high defense and they can't kill me. Chimera Wisps are supposed to be the deadly ones that you're meant to kill as fast as possible. That's how good this run is, apparently. Anyway, phase 3. That was phase 2. This phase is a lot deadlier. Yeah, he'll be locked in place. I didn't know that about Slicing Maelstrom. That is very good information to know. He jumped up. I'm dead. Oops. I used that from beyond the grave. Oh no, there's always one Eclipse difficulty with each character, isn't there? One difficulty where the game decides that instead of having fun, you're just gonna make that one mistake and then die. I say the game decides, it's me. It's happened on every character so far. Weird to have it happen on Eclipse 2 though. Eclipse 2 is easy. Though, in saying that, I did say multi would be the one I would struggle on the most. Just for fun, I'm gonna do double nail gun again. Because double nail gun is just that. Is that what I think it is? I don't actually know it. I think it's not. That could be. Oh, it's a key printer. Fair enough. I feel so slow. I have no range. This is like the Saw Blade, but actually sustainable. Unlike the Saw Blade, where you just take damage because you're too close to the enemies, and they can just do that. Yeah, I'm not sure... I go away from the Rebar Puncher, and then there's already a crowbar there. But yeah, I don't mind the nail gun, and it is fun if you get high attack speed, because you can literally just do this to enemies. But it's situational, and yeah, given the other two items, I'm easily going to take the crowbar anyway. Is there another chest? There is. Yeah. Both death, well, the first death was just because I took Saw Blade. I knew what it was anyway, I just took it for fun. Just like I took these two for fun, rather than the actual best option. Because double nail gun multi is very fun sometimes. If the run is good, like the Saw Blade run would have, well actually, or the previous one, would have been both very good for this as well. The previous run would have also been very good for Rex. Problem being he isn't here. No, he is a robot. And also a plant. He's weird. He's part cabbage. Which is a fact I will always bring up when talking about Rex, because I just find it funny that the plant in question, able to do all of the extremely powerful plant-based attacks that he has, is a mutant cabbage. A hydroponics farm thing gone wrong, / right. Depends. And is that there? Early ukulele with double rebar punch. This isn't rebar puncher. This is sad. Now, early ukulele with a double nail gun is actually really good though. Nail gun isn't bad. It's just not as good as the sniper thingy. Gore's Tome is useful. Because I would prefer this stream to actually have progress in it rather than 3 losses. Though it does happen. I just got too close on the previous run. Shockwaves ended up killing. I think I will take the armor, because if I can stop taking as much damage, especially from statuses, then I don't think that I would necessarily need... I don't have the money. But I'll do this, do that up there, and then move on. You know, this right now, the nail gun, is amazing for causing effects. Just because of what it is. The amount it attacks is amazing. Strides of Heresy on multi, no. While I could, and I'm sure that it would go fine, that's a stupid idea. Yeah, like, in terms of melting bosses, the nail gun is really powerful. The problem being, it has no range. But it's better than the sword blade, because the sword blade has the same purpose, less range, and less survivability. I'll buy this, why not? Might as well get at least some kind of help. The only time you'd ever really take one of these turrets anyway is when it's right next to the teleporter, because then it can just help with all the enemies. By themselves, they're probably some of the highest damage drones in the game. They just can't move. Yeah, no, I don't see this run going that badly. Well, the other one didn't either. I, as I said multiple times, got overconfident and then died because I played this game for far too long. I'm at the point now where really I'm not struggling at all with any of the game. Any losing streaks I get are just because losing streaks happen, really. I will not be able to kill you in time, will I? No. I guess it gets to live between stages. Possibly a stupid idea. Or not. That depends on perspective. I'll take it. Freon Accumulator. The strongest single hit thing in the game, as far as I'm aware. Yeah. But it has the longest charge time of any equipment, being 2 minutes. So, as a boss killer, it's decent, but as anything else, it's not really that amazing. And I'm pretty sure it has the same average, or similar average DPS to... That's very good, actually. Especially given what I have. Freon Accumulate. No, that's what I have. Royal Capacitor. There's many items in this game. So I'd rather just take a capacitor and split the damage up over bits rather than one massive explosion that can miss and travels extremely slowly. That... okay. Maybe changing to high fire rate rather than high damage was actually a good idea. Because bleeds don't care about your damage. They care about your damage stat, which doesn't change, it's the same character. But being able to apply them faster, that could be useful. Slows are annoying, especially when you yourself slow yourself. I don't really want to scrap. Lepton Daisy is useful because I don't have that much in the way of healing in the first place. I'll use the Freon Accumulator. It's that. It's just a BFG from Doom. That is what it's referencing. Overall, right now, it might make sense if I go straight to the boss and just do it. But then I am greedy, and I want items. Though, in saying that, I am getting a lot on the way. Especially when they're good like that. Because I haven't explicitly said it, I've kind of implied it. Landsmaker's Glasses add 10% to your crit rate for each one you have. With no maximum aside from 100%. So, that was a stupid way of saying that. They max out at 10. Or 9 if you're smart. Yes, I will happily take Just Shove the Drowned. As a lunar item, it technically has a downside. As a practical item, it doesn't have a downside. The downside, well, the upside is your cooldown reduction is halved. The downside is it fires automatically. But the majority of cases, that's a good thing. I'll take another crowbar. Especially considering I might end up with certain items that would actually make having Just Shove the Drown and crowbar very useful together. Don't hit me. There we go. You will die, and so will you. You didn't die. Well, now you will. I'm happy it's Glacials, because they're the easiest of all elites in the game. But they are very annoying with their slow. Because that's all they do. Well, and also they explode on death, but oh well. Ooh, what's over there? Armor, key, and something else. What about something else being a medkit? I'll take the key. I like how I complain about having no healing, and then on every opportunity I get to take healing items, I just don't. That fell in the pit. That is more armor. What is that one? Well, have fun, whatever's over there. It is hitting stuff. And there we go! Literally the exact item I was talking about. I don't know where the teleporter is. I probably walked straight past it and didn't even notice. That's fine. There is... Actually, sure, I have money. I don't have a healing drone, though. So even then, drones by themselves are usually able to take care of themselves even without a healing drone. They have a decent enough regeneration rate. That is fine, too. I took the missile drone because while it's attacking the wrong enemies, you can't aim them. It would be very useful if you could. Missile launcher. Or that. That could be very interesting. Okay, spawn the boss. Beetle Queen. Where? Over here. Forgive me, please. Triggers all of your on-death effects. You can have up to 3 of them active at a time, though I only have the 1 right now, because I don't have any extra charges on my equipment. With stuff like Ceremonial Daggers, it makes them from a kind of good red to a actually very good red. Right now I only have gasoline, which annoys me because 1, that's the official in-game item name, so that's what I'm going to call it. It's petrol. And 2, I don't have any other on killer. Oh no, I have Gore's Tome, so it's also a money generator. Gore's Tome is a 4%. It's also a lunar coin generator, but very, very unreliably. No, Gore's Tome is a 4% chance on every enemy kill to drop a block of gold worth exactly 1 chest's worth for the stage. Meaning that basically an enemy will pay for a chest. And considering that I have Forgive Me Please, which every time it does the waves is when it's triggering a mimicked death, it's a money farm. Each one of those waves is exactly the same as a death. There is no penalty for being something you control. Or rather, as I like it, I don't control it, it just comes out. So it is just free money. Which is really good. But yeah, get the right kinds of on-death effects and throw it on enemies at the right time, and you can do a lot of damage to them. I'm going to drink, because I haven't really been while playing. Which you might be able to hear, maybe not. I don't know. Yeah, I'll stop after this run. I guess while drinking, I might as well look at all the stuff people have decided to send me. Not much, but enough. Always when streaming, never when I'm not. It's probably the time I'm doing it, really. Well, I'm hoping I spot a certain lockbox very soon. I do, and I also just heard money get printed. It is literally money printer the item if you have Gallstone. Because I'm fine with that. I have a better machine gun than you. Okay. I understand that the gate. There is a beetle guard behind me. How much are these? 129. That's not too bad. No, part of the reason why I'm happy, and I didn't actually say it, but it is there, is because there is a dagger printer on this map. Oh, and very yes please. Heal cells don't just add another maximum charge to your equipment, they reduce cooldown. So having that with Gesture of the Drown means I'll throw them out more often too. Every 20 seconds rather than every, I don't know, 28 or whatever it was. I wasn't watching the timer. I don't need to anymore. It just plays by itself. Yeah. I think that was 3 of them. I'll take this. It doesn't really matter anyway, because I'm not going to bother with the scrapper. I saw a dagger printer, and like Lensmaker's glasses, they stack up to 10. I already have 2. I'm that early on in the run that I genuinely don't care what items I sacrifice. None of them are... I'll keep that out, actually. None of them are that overly amazing that I genuinely... Well, Nukan's opinion is getting a second turn. Even better, I'm going to put this down because that plays into my plan. Yeah, okay. And I'll even take that. Because what I can do is pump a whole load of white items into the daggers, get out with maximum bleed chance, which is just going to be amazing. 2 streams of bleeding nails. That is just good. I'm losing certain items, but I don't really care. I genuinely don't care what items go in. As long as it's not... Well, no. Past this, I will lose stuff I want to keep. Probably best case scenario. I'll go all the way, why not? Well, there goes a crit chance. One more. And it's my only speed up. Of course it is. Anyway, I now have maximum bleed. And what I'm gonna do is, because I have Nukan's opinion, I have 2 monster teeth here. On every kill, you drop a healing bubble. I have an item that mimics kills. I have an item that takes healing and turns it into damage. What I have is a skull farm, as long as I stay around the area. Similar to the previous one, but I don't have to stand literally still. And I have 2 of them. There's a reason Nukan's opinion is my favourite raid in concept. And it's this. Same as Forgive Me Please is my favourite equipment in general to use and in concept. In my opinion, it is the best. Well, the most interesting. The best is still Spineltonic. And my favourite green is Razor Wire for much the same reason. Because with the way Razor Wire works is you get hit and you send out, well, Razor Blades that damage enemies. I have a third one now. That damage enemies nearby. And if you have maximum lifesteal, or Hellfire Tincture, or both, what ends up happening is you end up in a damaging field that then heals you for more damage than you take. And if you mix that with Rejuvenation Rack and... I'm going to go over there. If you mix that with Rejuvenation Rack and Nukana's Opinion, don't really only need the Opinion. What you then get is very, very similar to this and the previous run, but even more overpowered. Also, Hellfire Tincture is fun too. I was surprised when I learned that the devs were surprised that someone figured out to use Hellfire Tincture and Razor Wire together. Apparently they were put in the game together on purpose. One way around or the other. I don't know... I don't remember if they came together or if they were all there first. I don't remember what items came or what updates. There have been many updates to this game. But yeah. Razor Wire is my favourite item in the game. In general. No. Anyway. Bleeds are overpowered. The reason I didn't care what items went in when I made Bleed is because Bleed is the best status effect in the game. It stacks linearly, which means that the more bleed stacks, and they're limitless, you can have as many bleed stacks on an enemy as you want. The more bleed stacks you put on an enemy, the more damage they take over time. And the more damage they take over time, the faster they die. Extremely good for bosses. That's fine. I don't have our feeling yet, that's Eclipse. And there they go. Eclipse 5. Do I do Void Fields or do I just move on? Because if I do Void Fields, I could get something fun. Yeah, okay. It would be a bit later than I normally do it, because I prefer to do Void Fields as soon as possible. Just because the later you go, the harder it gets, and then the more enemies that can spawn and everything, and yeah. It can get messy. But before that, I shall drink again, because I need to get through it. Yeah, no, even though I've died twice so far, I am definitely not sad about this this session. Just because, one, people turned up. I don't know why, but recently it's just magically people. I'm fine with that. Keep doing that. But also just, in playing the game in a more messing around kind of way, and genuinely, ooh, I kind of want the boss item from Grove Tender, even though I'm literally slow. Yeah, I got to 99 stacks of bleed, I think. Oh, I got leech. Actually, that's fine. I attack so fast that Leeching Seed would actually be very, very good. Yeah, that's a good thing. This is where Leeching Seed isn't too bad, because my attack rate is that fast that the ones add up. Also, a weird thing about this game. I'm still holding right click, even though I am currently not using power mode. It's a really weird interaction. Okay. Why okay? Oh, do you mean because of what happened? It's a weird interaction with power mode and freezing. I'm imagining that the devs are aware of it, but it's odd. But basically, because I got frozen power mode, the gun never stopped firing. I don't know why, but it's just something to do with how power mode works. Each time my right click is off cooldown, and because it's slicing Maelstrom rather than the grenade, it auto-fires. It doesn't have to have me let go. I fire out a bomb that interrupts my left click because it does interrupt your left click if you try and use it. And then it fires out, and then both streams start firing again. Because obviously well, I'll wait for me to teleport first. But obviously what should happen is this. I held down left click, hold down right click, it stops, it fires, and then I fire again. I didn't get the item. That's sad. Ooh, I could get that. Is that a power-up? I don't know. Visions of Heresy replaces your primary with a 12-shot volley of tracking darts that explode. Comparing it to this, where I have 2 of them. I wouldn't lose the second one, so this one is still fine. But the first one will be replaced with Visions of Heresy. A weird effect is the right click in power mode then gains perfect accuracy. Just for that interesting interaction, and because I do like Visions of Heresy as an item anyway, I'm going to take it just for fun. Or did they fix it? They might have fixed it. Oh well. Either way, no, Visions of Heresy is actually a good idea anyway, because it gives me a longer range option where I otherwise don't have one right now. Yeah, he's the closest thing to a target number you get, but you do get locked out. Anyway. I'm hoping for some attack speed ups now, because Visions of Heresy with default attack speed is not the best. But no, I took it for the range over the damage. Because obviously, having range like that versus range like that. I say that when I think they were actually the same range. Same distance. Either way, it's not... Why is it over there? Anyway... Of course it is. Yeah, I think they actually fixed the, Oh, no, they didn't. It was just because I hadn't, reset the stage. Well, reset the character load. That's just the standard shot variants of Visions of Heresy. The accuracy stat of the other one has been set to 0 because it's Visions of Heresy. No, I'm going to change how I'm saying that. Visions of Heresy always has perfect accuracy. The shot variance is your character. Take the perfect accuracy stat and plant it over an item, over an equipment thingy, loadout choice, like nail gun, and you get the interaction where the cone of fire is that small. At the very, it is still varied a little bit, but the accuracy / cone of fire is that small that there's not much. The main shots are still affected by the primary's bloom being... Why is it an X? I don't know why it's an X, but it is. Never mind, demonstration over. Oh no. They just got a 50% power up. And I don't know where they are. This suddenly became a lot more like... Oh, that's 50% done already. Maybe I won't even see any... No, there's one. Yeah, this is actually a lot of damage coming from them. But I do have my own healing station. Yeah, as long as I can stand on the area. Oh, I have 2 left on daisies. Never mind. I thought I only had the 1. Yeah, no, this is actually quite a lot of damage up for them. If they get anything like Predatory Instincts, that's actually quite bad for me. He despawned. That's a good thing. Over there. Because that increase to attack speed would be quite deadly. For me. Not for them. Ah, have I lost people now? Yeah. Oh well. Maybe. I don't know, the viewer count changed. Mushrooms! Because of course there are. Oh. Where's the other mushroom? Oh, down there. Fair enough. Yeah, that's about the maximum range of the nail gun. But the main damage of the nail gun isn't, the main damage of the nail gun isn't, the bolts themselves anymore. Nails. Bolt as in, like, proper bolt, not I know what tools are. I know a bolt is much closer to a screw than a nail. But yeah, no, the main damage is the bleed. Because that stacks up very high, very nicely. So the range doesn't really matter anymore. The damage fall off based on the range. Anyway. That's that one done. That's good, actually. Stacking that is nice. No, the weird freezing interaction is interesting, and the weird accuracy interaction is even more interesting. Because it just makes it so much easier. Yeah, you can see the pattern of fire is still there. That's inbuilt into the nail gun. That is just what the skill does. But yeah, tap, for the most part. Or is it? Maybe it is always just varied. Either way, now Visions of Heresy is perfect as characters. Give it to the engineer, and the turrets will have perfect accuracy. Like, well, this kind. They will never aim where they're not shooting. Which is a stupid way of saying that if they look at it, it'll get hit for the most part. 45 bleeds. Yeah, that's very... Ooh, does that actually work on the... It does! It works on the little shotgun blast at the end, too. Healing Nova. Ow. It hitted me. What am I being hurt? Am I still technically in the area of that? I guess maybe, but not really. Well, death to you. You get to bleed to death. And you get skulled to death. I guess. More crit rate. Always useful. Apparently that's actually over there. Meow. No. There we go. Roll this way. Okay, fine. I know it'd be stupid, but it's too bad that because both arms become a gun, you can't have Visions of Heresy plus the primary attack. Alloy Vultures. Fair enough. Well, you'll bleed to death. There's a vulture, which is... for a second I thought it was overloading. It's not, it's just covered in a shield. I don't know where that land... It's over there. I need these. Yes. You die, and this goes over here to heal me. And that dies, hopefully. And that dies. Yeah, I do need to be much more careful in this run just because of the enemies in Void Fields right now. Yeah, no, doing Void Fields, I will not be done before 10. I'll go over. That's fine, though. Ow. Death. Death. You will bleed to death. I need more cooldown reduction. That's what I would like. A double jump. That's also very useful. I'm just happy I have speed ups. Even if they're only while sprinting, it's still an increase to movement speed. Boop. Oh no. That's a problem. The game decided that the previous Void Fields was too easy for me, apparently. What is that? That's what I thought it was. Yeah, you die. I don't know what the proc coefficient is for the enemies, so I don't know what the chances are of a barrage of missiles flying out of a Clay Templar is. Problem is that they don't have 3 times damage missiles. They have 9 times damage missiles. So if I get hit by a vulture at max health and then the missile hits me, I won't die. If I get hit by a vulture at anything below 90% health, I pretty much will. Yeah, giving up some of the high fire rate damage for longer range and accuracy is nice. Going later into the run, as in like loop 2 and 3, if I were to do that, it could be a problem. But no, for the most part, it's not. For the most part, it's a good thing that I took it. Adding in more stability where otherwise I would just be firing out damage. That's fine, that dilutes the pools. Though the problem is, where I am right now are just perfect sightlines. The vulture did not die. Or maybe it did and it was another one. Ow. Yeah, that's part of the problem. And so's that. Die. I do still have ukulele though, which is always useful. Yeah, you didn't die, but you will. Enjoy nails, and you enjoy nails. Ow. Ow. And you enjoy nails, and then you just die in general. That spawned a missile. I think I'm gonna need... yeah. No, I'm gonna leave now. As much as I could, I'm not going to do this. I could win if I wanted to, but I don't want to anymore. The risk of death, as far as I'm concerned, is too big for what I'm doing. If I was playing a regular Monsoon, then I might continue. But on Eclipse, I'm not going to. I'm going for a win, even if I haven't so far. How well judged was that? It wasn't. That's another one of the fun things to do with here. I hear... Do I hear? Yes, I do. Is it regular, or is it... Oh, you need to die. Yeah, is it regular, or is it... It's regular. That's fine. Emergency aborted. Ooh, nice. 2 sticky bombs. Bang. Cover him in bombs. More crit chance. I will never say no. I do need more attack speed though, but this is adding on many, many bleeds, which I am very happy about. Oh, he'll die. Oh, he died before the thing went off. Have to get a second missile drone, if only as a distraction to the first. The thing with drones is, the more you have, the better they do, but they're just expensive. Like, regular gunner drones are just not worth it. The T something TC, I think, 280, the big one, is not worth it at all. It is stupidly expensive. Even these aren't really that worth it. But in terms of power, they are the most worth it out of any drones, which is why they're the only ones I will reliably get. That isn't too worth it. That's only a Genesis loop. You could argue two things for the Ally Worship unit. Either do it on the end of the stage, so you're the most powerful you can be before you fight it on the stage, or do it at the beginning of the stage, because then you will not need to worry about the rest of the stage. Also, you having a mass following of jellyfish, it's just money waiting to be taken. You die. Also, I'm happy I got Siren's Call again for two reasons. One, because it's my favourite stage in the game. And two, because it's the best way to get the legendary. Kill a thing and get a prize rather than get a big chest that's worth a lot. That's boring. I'd rather kill something. Well, that's dagger number 11, which is more unfortunate than anything, but it's not the worst. Oh, I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to do that, and then I'm going to break that, and kill them apparently. And there's a teleporter, and there's a scrapper. That's useful. And another 3D printer, and another 3D printer, and then you get to die. By the power of bleed. Not the power of friendship. You get to die by just being bled to death. Sliced. Probably up to 1,000, oh no, 1,000 times. I'm surprised it even got to the point of being able to do this attack. Oh, did the bleeds reset? Oh, they did. Oh well. Time to die. This is why bleeds are the most powerful status in the game. It's at the point where if you get enough bleeds, you can genuinely outpower the shield. If I'd have just kept firing, I would have. Unstable. There's like oil again. Anyway, that's one of the hardest bosses of the game dead. In less than, like, I don't know, 20 seconds. He is a very difficult boy. Oh, not when you have bleeds. Now, that fight's a fight of pacing, which I didn't do because I have bleeds. I know, in terms of a regular fight against the Ally Worship unit, it's a fight of pace. Well, I get an extra life, which would have been useful last time. But I guess now I'm practically guaranteed to win. I know I've just signed my death, but oh well. Jinxes are stupid. I say that when I am the most likely person out of anyone I know to cause them. My coat is cursed. If I don't bring it, it rains. If I do, it doesn't. If I don't think about whether or not it will rain, then just take a coat. My drones trap themselves in a building. Also, in terms of lore, Siren's Call is the place that called the contact light to the planet. The original message that caused the first game came from this stage. Which is fitting, considering it's called Siren's Call. Also, considering what sirens are in mythology. To sailors. And also it being the ship graveyard, with loads of different ships all being crashed around here specifically. There are some others around the planet as well. But yeah, in terms of in-game lore, this is the reason for the entire game series happening. Something on this stage causing ships to crash. Or rather, calling them to the planet. which is implied through several things, but as far as I'm aware, never explicitly said. So many jellyfish. I could do the freezy thing again, but I have no reason to. Well, here's this. It's next to teleporter, I might as well. There's a scrapper. Go away. I guess out of all of this stuff... Ow. I guess out of all of this stuff, which I could scrap, which isn't really that much when you look at it. 2. And the bustling fungus, but I don't have much in the way of healing, and I have no kind of opinion anyway. And I'll leave it. I don't know what I want. Because over here is more of them. Over there is... what is that? Boss damage. Which might be a good idea against the final boss. That would just make that faster, and all bosses again. Or because I have mostly close-ranged attacks, I could get the focus crystals I saw somewhere. Wherever they are. Oh. Actually, no. I'll do armor. Of course it did. The game would. Because of the angle, I didn't think it would throw it off the stage, but it did. Can't catch it in a ball form either. Anyway, here I go. There we go. Anyway. What's the boss gonna be? Magma Worms? Yep. Armor's gonna be useful because setting me on fire will do barely anything. Part of the reason why I took it is because Magma Worms. They do have direct damage attacks. Well, I lost 2 drones in that. Oh well. But yeah, as I'm showing off quite nicely, most of their damage is fire. Why would I give up this for a Genesis loop? Especially when Mithrix, the final boss, can use it himself and kill me if I don't get it back as one of my first items. Well, before the end. Did one of my drones die off the edge? Oh. Unfortunate. Also, when that can happen with the stupid fire rate, even though I only have 1 damage up, 1 attack rate up. It's only a 10% chance, it's not much. It's literally just if the ATG missiles was a mortar type shot. It's the exact same stats. 10% for 300%. Just instead of homing in, it's explosive bolts that drop down around. They do aim for enemies, but it's more for spreading damage around, because each of the bolts does that damage. It's not split between them. Yeah, it's more about spreading damage around and causing explosions rather than a single hit that does a lot of damage. Unlike Charged Perforator, the alternate Perforator, which deals 500% damage at a 10% chance to 1 enemy per hit. Because it's only 1 hit. Yeah, there's pretty much always one that drops down directly on the target. I see a Magma Worm. I don't see an Elite Lemurian. I see where the teleporter is, it's over there. Magma Worm knows where I am, so I am going to stay over here and wait for it. Oh, there's 2 Magma Worms. That's fair enough. They both know where I am. Why is it going up there? I mean, this is easy kill. Hello. Anyway, it's dead now. As much as this is less flashy than the previous run, I genuinely think this is going better than that one ever did. Because of the max bleed with a ridiculous fire rate as just the item in general. I don't know why, but today things are items to me. When they're not. And Multi is that heavy that he physically gets tapped rather than booted off the stage. That's funny. Because in most characters you get hit by a rock and you get flung off the stage so far that you'll probably just never make it back. Which, on Eclipse 3 and up, is usually just death. It depends on how well you can judge the fall distance. Because it's a teleport boundary down there. Oh, there is stuff down there. Okay, fine. There's a teleport boundary. Oops. Double oops. Is there anything down? No. I'll spawn that down here. And then you'll die because of my healing, and I just heal in general. I just realized I have 2 heresy items. If I wanted to, I could have gone bird. I didn't. I didn't even think about it, but I could have. That never reaches. I'll just go up this way. Unless you jump on that, I'm pretty sure it doesn't ever actually make it. This isn't the correct way. For some reason my brain told me there's a link. There might be some kinds. It's like every stage. There are different variants where some of them have like a bridge somewhere and some of them have like a gate open or whatever. Things will never spawn in the non-existent areas. Like on a Distant Roost, the original Distant Roost, not the second one. There's a small gate on the side which leads down to a little cliff kind of cave thingy. It's a bit of both. If that gate is closed, there won't be anything in there. New altars can spawn in those places because they're not affected by that. For some reason. I don't know why, but chests and things won't spawn there and enemies can't either. Though that doesn't sometimes stop enemies from spawning in the ground. That's always funny whenever that happens. There was one earlier actually, the imp. Interesting thing about Visions of Heresy. The initial bolts, that the damage on the stick has 10% damage and a 0.1 proc coefficient. But the explosions have their complete damage. This is 10% of their damage. I don't know what the individual stat is. I want to say it is actually just 100% damage anyway. I could be wrong. I am 100% taking that, unless... yeah, I'm taking this. And yeah, the explosion, where it actually triggers the damage, is full damage and a 1.0 proc coefficient. It just is. Yeah, this was a good idea. This is even higher fire rate. Because while my critical rate isn't amazing, it's enough to maintain the Predatory Instincts. Yeah, it's only 25%, but I attack that fast in the first place. Hopefully another red. Razor wire, hooray! 2 razor wires, that's the same as a red. Oh no, if the game is to be believed, 5 greens equals a red. I can see why they do that, because reds can be the best items in the game. Not all of them. Same as not all greens are good. Look at Squid Pollet. The game just froze. I don't know why. I don't think anything opened in the background. I'm hoping the game isn't going to crash soon. It shouldn't. It hasn't crashed properly for ages. Yeah, that's pretty much why I didn't get rid of Molten Perforator. This is still one of the best stages in the game. I know exactly what I'm going to go for. Another one to get even more healing going. It's too bad I don't have any damage death things anymore, because I lost the only one I had when I made the daggers. Aside from that, I didn't have any. I say that, I'm going to get one here, aren't I? No. But sticky bombs with my attack rate is fine. Sticky bombs aren't bad, they're just not necessarily early game items. when you get to the point where it genuinely doesn't matter how many of each item you have, because the ones that do matter have already been maxed out, then sticky bombs are fine to stack. But doing just over triple damage on each hit... Yes, actually, yes I will. Even more cooldown reduction. 14 seconds now. No. And yes. Well, in that case... have fun with that. You're dead now. Ooh, and this. So, even more damage around with another one of them. See, I would like to actually, like, get something. It's a rose buckler. How expensive? That was not worth it at all. Ooh, is there a chest there? No, that's the multi-shop I've already used. I think that chest is open. Yeah, it is. Is that what I think it is? Yes, it is. Mine. I could, I don't care. If it's parents, they die. If it's any boss here, they die. I don't need to worry about them. So let's control you. Well, I know what the boss item is. I haven't had that bug happen in ages. That's funny. One of the bosses spawned in a wall, I'm assuming, and died immediately, like on the first frame. So the game thought that all the bosses were dead because they don't all spawn together sometimes. They can spawn very, very slightly apart just because of variance, I think. I don't know why they do that. But yeah, something the game does. But that means that if there's an opportunity for the game to spawn the items where the bosses are technically dead, but they're not, it will do it. So even though I hadn't beaten all the bosses because they hadn't all spawned yet, one of them somehow died in that time and caused the game to go, yeah, you win. Obviously, the actual beat the bosses hadn't happened yet, and that tick was still there. But it's just a funny side effect of weird spawning and placements, because the teleporter being half buried isn't necessarily the best thing. Anyway, onwards I go. Machine buried in the ground or not. Up. I have decent healing. Not the most amazing, but not the worst. How many slugs do I have? Only the one. My speed isn't as high as I'd like. At least I have 6 allies. Then the probes will deal a decent amount of damage. They should spawn soon. They spawn every 30 seconds until they die. Or at least I'm assuming they'll spawn soon. I know if you have too many allies, they don't spawn, but that's like 14. I only have 6. I think the number is actually 14. But yeah, I don't know why they haven't... I don't know why they haven't spawned. Oh, there they are. Hello! Time to die. Yeah, that's out of both ranges. I was gonna say, why is the probe aiming at me? That makes sense. You just die, in general. And so do you. And so do you. And so do you. I am genuinely being pushed back because of the shots from the enemies. I don't have any scrap. I'm not going to bother with the cauldrons. I'm just going to go for speed. Affecteds can still kill me, though. But I can kill them. 1 blood, 1 soul, 1 mass, 2 design. I'll do soul, blood, and designs because they're physically the fastest. I always used to think that soul was the hardest. Overall, it probably still is. I would actually be tempted to say that that's been taken by blood. At least in Eclipse it has. Because blood takes so much health when you have half healing. Because the value of health when you have half healing is double. It takes twice as much to do anything with it. Yeah, I'd rather not deal with enemies having exploded on me. That doesn't sound like a fun time. Okay, go away. And go away. You just die. There we go. Yeah, the fire rate is actually quite decent now. Even with only 2 syringes, but then the fire rate of the nail gun is ridiculous in the first place. Fastest attack in the game. No, it's not actually. The fastest attack is Bandit's primaries. Because they're weird. They fire... I'm not charging this. I thought I was. Because I was stood on it. Yeah, they fire based on your clicks, and they recharge based on your attack speed. So no, they are technically the fastest in the game. They just fire as fast as you can fire. I believe. How many left on days? I have 3. I mean, sure, it'll make it easy to do the Pillar of Blood. Yeah, the probes with 6 allies actually deal quite a lot of damage. That's, considering it's a friendly, that's dealing quite a bit to the golem. Oh, that's 3 design. Fair enough. Death to all of these. Yeah, I was right. Lepton Daisy is helping a lot. It's done. Throwing out loads of skulls because of how fast it charges, which also results in healing. Because of how fast it charges. Only problem... Well, no, it's a good thing, really. Because I have allies and Mithrix doesn't. The only problem is when it comes to doing phase 4, when he gets the empathy cores, he gets his own, which are fairly strong. Because they're the enemy level, which is 46, where I'm only 22. And I have items where he would also have items by that point anyway. But, yeah, I have allies, which I believe means that for empathy cores, it's their strength based on the number of drones/teammates you have is applied on spawning. It isn't flexible, I think. If it is flexible, then I genuinely didn't know that. But I'm pretty sure that the same as everything in this game, it's on spawn and then those stats are the same no matter what. Do I want... It's either 5 or 3s, I don't remember though. But no, I do not want that many focus crystals for all of my reds. It might even actually just be 3. Because in terms of proper conversion, it should be 15, but I know it's not. I know it's not worth it at all. Yeah, they all explode. That's a lot of damage going on in that area. I'll just stand on I could try to do that way, actually. That's stupid. I double jumped. I didn't mean to. Anyway... This is the... Am I blind? That's what I normally go on. There's 3 of them, aren't there? Only 2. Fair enough. I think it's because normally I finish with Pillars of Soul or Mass, because they are the hardest and slow. No, there are 3. I knew there were 3. This should make it. Keyword is should. Yep, did. In terms of damage, I should be perfectly fine. Just because of the bleeds, it should be able to go to ridiculous numbers. Well, it's currently on about 200, though it'll be lost by the time he comes down. Yeah. That's fine, I can just apply them all again. I genuinely have that much defense. Come over here. There we go. I'm not going to charge at him as tempted as I was because of the bleeds. He's near 300 now. He's over 300. Now I can charge at him. Which overall I don't think is actually going to do very much. I'm just going to bleed him again. And that's phase 1. You are close. You get to be bled to death. And now it's your turn. I lost so much health doing that. Not really, actually. This is such a stupid strategy, but it's exactly what power mode is. Low speed, high defense, mow everything down, be a tank. No, I would rather not. I don't know. Yeah, I think he lost the bleeds. Oh well. Only problem with this phase. He loses the bleeds very, very quickly. Ow. Yes. I would like them a lot. I landed on that. He actually knocked me away from them. That was useful. I'm gonna go up here. He should jump soon, I think. He can move while... Interesting. Because his attack physically has him step forwards, when he gets pinned by the thingy. Oh no. Oh yeah, right, I revived. Run away. I forgot I had that extra life. That's useful to know, because without it I would have probably... Well, it's useful to have used, because without it, he now can't use it himself. I am going to quickly heal a little bit while I still have fight fungus. Yeah, that was again overconfidence, but I have thing, so it worked. Can I hit him from here? No. But I don't want to get in close. Oh, I can hit him from here now. I don't want to get in close because that probe is coming for me. How much damage can I do to it? Not very much. I might have to get in close. Yeah, that isn't useful to me. I need the damage bits. Yeah, there go both of my probes. There's a ukulele, which at least is useful. He now doesn't have that. Doors. Yeah, I can make some money. Defense, that's good. That'll stop him stopping so much damage. I don't know how much damage his probes will do. I'm judging this current bit of the fight based on what he doesn't have. Good, he no longer has the bleeds, which means... No, the problem is he still has Unstable Tesla Coil and Nukana's Opinion. Never mind, he only has Tesla Coil now. Good, he's starting to hurt himself, but he's now still too powerful to the point where I don't want to go near him. I still kind of don't want to go near him, but I should be fine now. I think. Yeah, I should be fine. There he goes. I just didn't want to go near him while he was still able to kill me. Portals. One. Well, I'm fast enough. I felt Multi genuinely might not make it in time, but I should right now. I have enough movement speed ups. Yeah, unfortunately I had to use the extra life, which was not the best. I genuinely thought I could kill him. Well, no, I understand that the Walls of Fire are multi-hit attacks, just in one. But I didn't think that that one piece of the Wall of Fire would hit me like that, because the other one didn't. That's why I was fine with taking the hit, because I was going to move and then heal. Instead, I just died. Anyway, there's some actual progress today. Assuming I don't die now. No, I'd rather not have a Void Reaver explode right next to me. The game seems to want to think I do. Didn't take out his friend. No, I'd rather not be near you. Even if it means getting hit by other stuff, I do not want a Void Reaver to eat me. Many bleeds. And he's just gonna go pop. Yeah. Die? Ah. Very, very close. I win. I don't remember what the ending message is for multi. Oh, is it ready to recharge? Yeah. I do remember it, barely. Anyway. That is the run I got. Unfortunately, I died, but oh well. Damage taken, not As high as I expected. Yep, Lucy's back. This is a rare 4 interruption, but with that, that is the end. So thanks to people who appeared. Slightly longer than normal, but oh well. Yeah. Bye.